Hello, today we're going to talk about your Forest River Gray Wolf 23 DBH. We're going to walk around the outside here, look at different parts of it, talk about it, and then once we're done on the outside, we'll go inside the unit. Starting here with your roof, you want to inspect this roof about once every 60 days or so. You want to check all around your roof seams, your roof penetrations. If you see anything it's suspect, you want to use a product up there called Dicor. Dicor is a self-leveling caulk, comes in different colors. You do not want to use silicone caulk on your roof. You can use silicone caulk anywhere else on the side of the unit and such. Anything to do with your slide or your roof, you want to use Dicor. Your awning, we refer to your awning as a fair weather sunshade awning. Basically, you're going to put it out until a little valance drops off the edge here, and then you're going to let go of the switch. When you do roll the awning back up, you always want to roll the roller under the fabric as it comes back to the camper. You don't want it rolling over the top of the fabric, you want it to roll under it. Also, whenever your awning is out, it's always a good idea to make sure you keep it pitched. There's a pitch arm on this end, and you got another pitch arm down here at this end. Basically what that does is it adjusts the pitch of the awning so that you don't have water ponding on top of your fabric if it was to rain or something and pull on your fabric and possibly pull it loose from the edge of your camper. The pitch arm basically is just quite simply just pull down on the elbow here, and that is going to drop the awning down in the front if you're pitching the front one. If you do the back one, it's going to pitch it to the rear. You can do both of them at the same time, and it'll pitch it out toward the front. Always make sure that you return your pitch arms back to their normal position prior to rolling the awning back up. You've got tie downs back here in the back. You got stabilizers on all four corners. Your stabilizers are there for leveling your, or not leveling your camper, but stabilizing your camper. They're not for leveling your camper. They're there just to give your camper stability. What you're going to do is you're going to back your camper up and use whichever tires are on which side, if you're a little bit off level, to bring your camper to level left to right. And then you're going to use your jack out in the front to level your camper front to rear. Once you've established left to right and front to rear, before you put your slides out or anything else, that's when you want to go ahead and drop your stabilizers down. You can always drop them down onto a board or something too as well. There's a wrench up in the front storage bin up here in the front that'll help you get those down. Get all four of them down, and like I said, hit a board or hit the ground, whichever way you want to do that, and then just kind of give it a little extra turn, and that's all there is to it. You do not want to use it for trying to raise your camper up to change tires or level it or anything to that. You've got two doors here, one in the front, one in the rear. You got steps in this case in the rear that just fold up and go underneath the door, whereas those steps up front basically are folding up inside the door frame. This door here will take you into where the bathroom is inside the camper. You do have a screen door here that you can separate from your main door, and it does have a bolt lock on here as well. These two cylinders out here will be key to like, and it'll be a different set of keys than it is for that door up front. This is your black tank flush right here. Your black tank hose is going to connect over on the other side. Basically, your black tank flush is a sprayer that's inside your black tank that helps empty out or flush out your black tank whenever you're dumping your black tank. The only thing that goes in the black tank is the toilet. Everything else goes in the gray tanks. Anytime you use this, you always want to make sure that you have your black tank valve open first, then hook your hose up second, turn your water on third, flush until you're satisfied, turn the water off, remove the hose, and then once you do that, then let it finish draining out, and then you can go ahead and close your black tank valve on the far side and then open up your gray. The reason we typically do the black first is because the gray usually has soap and things like that in it, and it'll kind of help rinse your hose out before you stow it back away inside your tube bumper. Your speakers here are waterproof type speakers, just don't shoot water at them. Just let it kind of cascade down. You've got a TV mount out here, same as you do on the inside, to be able to bring a TV out here and plug it into AC and plug it into the cable, which uses the existing antenna on the roof. You've got a vent right here for your kitchen exhaust. You can also close that when not in use. Otherwise, make sure that you always pop that thing open whenever you are turning on your exhaust vent. Otherwise, the smoke will not clear. This is going to be your fresh air in and exhaust out for your furnace. You've got a 110 refrigerator here. This particular refrigerator doesn't have any backup. It has to be plugged into electric for it to work. Do have an ice maker here, and you do have a hot and cold running faucet over here on this side. You also have one over on the other side as well. This basically just folds up and secures in there. You do have a LP connection right down here on the bottom. There is a ball valve on there as well. Always make sure that valve is open also whenever you are going to use that. Like I said, these steps are going to fold up inside the door frame. You want to just basically have the door fully open whenever you get ready to put this in, and so that your door's out of the way. Ultimately, what you're trying to do, and you do have adjustments on these legs, there's little levers on the bottom of this rail on each side that allows you to adjust the legs on here depending upon your terrain and stuff. Ultimately, what you really want to do, you want to try to get this piece of metal here as close to this piece of metal on the threshold as you can. That way it gets the steps, one, level, but two, keeps it out of the way of the door when the door tries to come around to close. This one's going to work the same way with a screen and everything, and double cylinder locks. I'm going to go ahead, it's kind of a little bit breezy today, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this awning in while I'm at it. Again, always make sure that your your arms are back in their normal position for your awning before you roll it up. And as you can see, the roller is rolling under the fabric. That's really how you want it to be rolling. And all you're going to do is bring it back and secure it to the camper, and there's nothing to lock down or anything like that. So just make sure your pitch arms are in their normal position. Bring it back, hold on to the switch until it closes up, and that's all there is to it for your awning. It is a little breezy today, so I like to keep it up if I don't have to have it out. Like I said, your stabilizer wrench is right here for your stabilizers. This wrench here is for your power jack that you can take the cap off the top head there. If you had a dead battery or something happened to your jack, you could put that in there and be able to run your jack manually. These are your caps off your rear bumper where you can store your sewer hose and stuff. And there is your starter kit just inside there in that box. You have two 20-pound propane tanks out here on the front. You have a selector switch right here with a little pointer on it. That pointer is pointing toward the tank that you're wanting to use. In this case, it's pointing to the left tank. This tank is open and this tank is closed. Basically, all you're going to do is run it like that. When you get done with it, just simply turn the tank off. Don't mess with this valve, because next time you get ready to camp, this valve will kind of remind you which tank you were using last time, so you go back and keep using the same tank over and over again until this tank is empty, and then you can turn around and switch this valve over to this one if need be. You have a 12-volt deep cycle marine style battery. Anytime you're plugged into shore power, it's trickle charging. Anytime you're plugged in to your tow vehicle through your 7-way, provided your 12-volt charge line is working on your tow vehicle, it's also trickle charging the battery. You also have a solar panel up on the roof that will help keep your battery trickle charged also. If you have a disconnect, I can't remember, but I think I maybe saw a disconnect on the inside, a battery disconnect. You always want to make sure that disconnect stays on to be able to charge your battery as well. Your power jack This is how you're going to get up and down on it, and you do have a little work light here on the front, a little utility light that you can turn on as well. Anytime you secure to your vehicle, always make sure that you put a pin through here once you put this on the ball. And on your chains, make sure you crisscross your chains when you put them on your vehicle. Also, you have an emergency breakaway cable here as well. Always make sure that when you hook your emergency breakaway cable up, that you don't like wrap it around your chains. Don't wrap it through your chains or through the links or anything. It should be totally unencumbered between the where the pin gets pulled out on the breakaway and your tow vehicle. Most people will just take this and hook it to their vehicle using a little carabiner or something like that and hook it up. Like I said, you always want to make sure that cable does stay inside there, stays inside that fitting. If it ever does come out, it's going to lock your brakes up. As long as you have 12 volt power, it's going to continue to hold on to your brakes. So always remember to keep that pin in there. Your VIN information, tire pressure information, and everything is over here on the side. Your water heater is both a gas and electric water heater. Your on and off switch for electric is on the bottom left hand corner. Your gas switch is on the inside. Your drain plug is at the bottom in the middle there. These little black boot push buttons here on the side, those are your high temperature cutouts. One is for electric and one is for gas. And then you have a high pressure pop off on the top here as well for your water heater. It's also important to always remember whenever you are going to use your water heater, just make sure that your system does have water in the water heater, that you're not turning it on with a dry tank. The easiest way to check that too is go to any hot water faucet in the camper. Could be an outside shower or anything like that. Turn on the hot side just to confirm you got water coming through it, whether you're coming through your water pump on your freshwater tank or whether you're coming through city water. This is going to be an inbound cable connection right here, so that basically whenever you're wanting to let's say the place you go to has cable available or such, you can hook it to that and have cable inside the camper. You do have an antenna, like I said, an onboard antenna on the camper itself, so there's a little power switch in there, and we'll talk about that when we get inside there as well. Your low point drains for winterization are over here. Those only come into play when you're actually trying to winterize the camper. Your sewer hose connection is going to go here on the side, and your black tank pull valve is on the right side and your gray tank pull valve is on the left. Again, the black tank, the only thing goes in there is from the toilet. On the gray tank, the only thing goes in there is from the shower, bathroom, kitchen, things like that. You have a 30 amp power cord on here to be able to power the unit itself. This is your other outside shower that does have hot and cold capabilities. You do have a little work light here that you can turn on and off from the side here as well. This right here is going to be your freshwater tank fill. This is your onboard tank that if you're putting water in your freshwater tank, this is where you're going to put it in until it kind of comes out this vent hole here, and then you know your freshwater tank's full, and you'll use your water pump at that point to suck the water out of your freshwater tank and send to any and all fixtures in your camper. Now if you're using city water, you're going to go to this connection right here, and just keep in mind you want to use a water pressure regulator valve on there. You just want to make sure it's on the hose somewhere. You can put it at the beginning of the hose, the end of the hose, wherever you want to put it, so long as it's somewhere in line prior to going in the camper. And that is so that you can control the pressure going in your camper. Some campgrounds, their pressure can be too extreme and they might pop a water line on your camper or something. So it's always good to keep that pressure regulated. I know our water pressure regulators here are factory set at about 50 to 55 psi. You got some storage underneath here in the bunk area here as well. Again, this is where you can store your sewer hose at, and like I said, the tube ends for the bumper are up in the front storage area. You got a spare tire back here on the back. You've got a storage rack back here on the back as you can pull these pins out. I believe this is 250 pounds, no, 200 pounds. These have a 200-pound weight limit, is what you can put on this rack back here. You have a camera back here on the back, and there is a code that you read from inside the camper, and it'll go through a step-by-step procedure of how to set your camera up with your smartphone. That's basically how you can use your camera. You have to have your smartphone powered up and be able to sync it with your smartphone or something. Basically it uses Bluetooth. So I mean, you could use an iPad for a monitor, things like that too as well, I do believe. That's pretty much it on the outside. Your freshwater tank drain is down on here somewhere. It might be on the far side. Usually they typically keep it in the area of where the fresh tank fill is located. And so, you know, just so you know, you typically don't carry water with you and you don't bring it home. So you always want to open up that freshwater tank drain and let that water out. If you used your freshwater tank, if you use city water, then you're not going to need to worry about it. But just keep in mind that you don't want to really carry water with you. There's not really a big need to carry water with you. Go inside here. You got your fire extinguisher here. Got a heat vent right here. Air conditioning is all going to be up in the ceiling. This is the code I was telling you about that you want to scan to be able to connect to your camera and everything. This is where your awning light is located. This is your exterior light. This is your living room light. This is a water heater to run it for gas. This is your water pump to turn on your water pump if you're using your freshwater tank. This is going to show you if you got water in the camper. The more lights, the more there is. This is your black tank condition. So as your black tank gets fuller and fuller, you'll get more lights up here. Same thing for the gray. And then your battery condition is here. Really, to get a good test of your battery, you really should be unplugged from the electric because you're going to pick up power through your converter and such. So just if you unplug from it, then that'll give you a little bit better reading. Bluetooth connection here, and like I said, you want to scan these codes. And I think in this case, this one here is for the camper for Gray Wolf and stuff, and this is the QR code or whatever they call it for your actual camera right here. This is the one you want to scan for your camera. These outlets, they all say GFCI on them. Basically they're protected by GFI outlets. They're not the actual GFI. The GFI is probably actually in the bathroom. Anything that's close to a kitchen area, an outside water source, or outside or in the bathroom are all going to be GFI protected as well. You got lights that are underneath the cabinet here that are manual on and off as well. There's a little push button right here in the middle that turns them on and off. And these right here above, these are also manual on and off. Most of these switches that I like turn off over here, like living room lights, that's going to turn those off. Let's see, an exterior light, that's probably the awning light, or that's the awning light right there. And this is probably another exterior light. I'm not sure exactly which one it is what that one's for. So once you turn all the lights off, if you still see lights on, then they probably either have some switches that are inside of here, or you have to go to that little center button in the middle to turn them off manually that way. Your keys are located here. You got 2 keys for each door. Your stove, basically this is going to be your left burner, your center burner, and your right burner, and this is your striker that you use to basically start it. Basically you can put these on high, use this striker to be able to light them up. It's kind of like lighting a grill. And you do have a little button here that can turn these lights on as well as the oven light. When you get ready to use the oven, basically you have to go and move it to this position here, which will allow you to then be able to push this in. When you push this in, what you're doing is you're sending gas to the pilot light down in the bottom, in the middle, all the way in the back. And so when you hold this in, you're sending gas back to it, and then you have to use this striker again over here, turning it clockwise and everything to be able to light the oven. If you see, once you see the pilot light, hold that for a second till it heats the thermocouple, then let go of it. If you see the pilot light is still lit, you're good to go. Then you can go ahead and turn the oven on around, and that'll turn the main burner on. Once you turn it all to off, it's going to turn the main burner and the pilot light back out. I kind of like to use the glass as a reflector. If you kind of adjust this to a certain point, you can kind of see the reflection in the glass, and instead of having to get down on your knees and stuff to try to light the pilot light and see it, you can kind of see it right here. Anytime you either need the space or you actually get ready to head down the road, always make sure you put your glass top back down so it doesn't come down prematurely and break or something. This board right here is magnetic, and that's like a little cutting board and such. You do have a light over the stove as well as your exhaust fan. Remember, like I said, make sure you have the exhaust fan open, that damper open on the outside when you get ready to use it. Microwave up here, your refrigerator and ice box. Basically, this is a 12-volt refrigerator. The on and off switch is right down here on the right hand side. Basically, the way you turn this refrigerator on and off is hold that button down for about 10 seconds. When the light goes out, the refrigerator will then go off. One thing you need to keep in mind and remember, because this is a 12-volt refrigerator, you can run it. You can run the refrigerator while you're driving down the road, but also once you unplug from electric, if you're not using your refrigerator, then you want to make sure that you turn it off, simply because it will drain on your 12-volt battery and could run your battery down on you if you're not actually plugged into electric, picking up power, using your converter in your breaker panel here to get power to your 12-volt. This is your battery disconnect I was telling you about. When you can pull that key out, that means your battery's turned off. You're disconnected from the battery to the camper itself. You do need to leave that on whenever you are wanting your solar panel to charge as well. Otherwise, you're kind of isolating your battery from the camper and the solar panel itself. You do have a little readout over here. It tells you what your battery's doing as far as your voltage and such. Your air conditioner has filters on this side here and over here on this side. Basically, you want to keep those as clean as you can. You can pop this down, pull the filter out, wash it, pat it dry, and stick it back up there. And it does have, you can open up these vents here manually. Most people will keep these closed simply because that way it forces the air to go out the ceiling vents, and it's a little quieter that way as well. Like I said, your breaker panel's there. You push on the top of the door in the middle, drop it down, and that's where your 110 resettable breakers and all your 12-volt fuses are also located in there. Your bathroom here, you got your shower, your exhaust fan here. You can open up your vent with this guy right here. Once you open it, or once you close it even, make sure you push that down, or actually in this case up. You kind of pull down on it when you get ready to open it, otherwise push it back up to lock it down. And this is a multi-speed fan. Basically, you can turn this on, and this is your on and off switch right here, and it does have different speeds to it. Also, keep in mind, whenever you do get done using the exhaust fan, make sure you close the vent if you don't have a max air vent cover on here, because if it rains, it will come in the bathroom. Got a light switch in here. Here's your GFI outlet I was telling you about, your sink and everything. Your toilet basically has a foot valve here on the front. How you want to use this is basically push on that foot valve a little bit just to make the water come on, but not enough to open the flapper on the bottom of the toilet. What you want to do is you want to have a little water in a bowl. Use the bathroom, do your business, then you want to push that foot valve all the way to the floor. That opens the flapper valve, turns on the water, flushes everything into the black tank. After you get done, you always want to go back the way how you started and put a little water back in the bowl. There's for two reasons. One, keeps the seal lubricated, but two, it also helps keep the water acts as a vapor barrier, kind of like a P-trap under a sink does, and it'll keep sewer gas from coming up from the black tank up through the toilet and into the camper. Otherwise, I can turn this light off. It does have push buttons on, so if I have it on, I do have the choice of only having one on versus two lights on too. Always make sure when you are camping or when you're getting ready to go down the road, you've always secured your doors, your snaps on your bedroom doors. Everything's secured, nailed down, locked down, whatever it might be, and make sure that nothing can be moving around. You got little bunk lights up here in the top. There's also another one down here in this area as well. USB charging port there and up here as well. A little ladder that you can pull out to get up into the bunk. You got an LP carbon monoxide detector down here at the bottom. That can go off for LP leak, carbon monoxide leak, or if your battery were to be low or anything like that, it's also going to tell you when your battery's low. So it might start chirping on you, kind of like a 12 volt on a smoke detector does. Tells you, hey, your battery's getting low. That'll do the same thing, and you might want to go over and check your battery and see if something's going on. You do have storage underneath your dinette. You can pick your table up, pull your pedestals out, drop your table down, backfill with cushions, and make a bed out of that as well. You do have another USB charging port over there on the side, and like I said, this light's going to be a manual light here as well. Your thermostat here, these are basically the arrows are controlling your set points, and this is controlling your different modes. Basically, you can start out here with fan speeds, low or high. You can also go to cool high, you can go to cool low, you can go to cool low auto, you can go to cool high auto, you can go to heat, and then go to off. So those are all the different modes that it'll go through. Now, just so you know, the difference between cool high and low auto are basically when the set point is reached on, say, the air conditioner. Once the set point's reached, and if you have it on cool high versus cool high auto, cool high keeps the fan running all the time to kind of keep the air circulating in the camper, whereas if you use the auto mode, when the air conditioner turns off the compressor, it's going to turn the fan off as well. Some people like to run it in cool high all the time or cool low versus auto because they don't want to hear the air conditioner cycling on and off, especially at night. And they also like to have that fan running continuously, especially at night, because not only one, it keeps the air circulating in the camper more evenly, but it also acts as white noise so that you're not hearing noise outside as much. So a lot of people will run them on cool high or low versus auto. It's totally up to you. That's just so you know, that's the difference between the auto and the not auto function. And then, like I said, after the air conditioning settings, you go to heat. Anytime the heat comes on and then you turn it to off, if the fan cycles on for just a second, it takes 2 minutes for it to go back off because it automatically goes into a cool down period. You've got a AM FM Bluetooth radio up here. Plays speakers on the inside, which is zone 1 and zone 2. So you can play wherever you want to play the sound, in or out or both at the same time. Press the power button once, mutes it, press it again, unmutes it, hold it down and turns the unit totally off. You've got a remote here for your fireplace. Your fireplace does multiple functions. It has the remote to be able to do it, but also has controls down here if your remote ever goes bad on you as well. So it has a timer function to be able to run it as, or however you want to run for up to so many hours. I think you can run this one maybe up to 9 hours. After 9 hours, it turns everything off. You also can change the color on the stones. You can have it to where it has heat, low heat or high heat or a set point. It's totally up to you how you want to do that, or you can just have it on just for the looks of it all. So you have that capability as well on your fireplace. So like I can take it here, and I can just take it and hit the button there and turn it off. This is that mount I was telling you about for your TV. You can also pass it through to the other side if you want to put a TV over there. You got 110 power for your TV as well. And this is that antenna, that power booster I was telling you about. Push this little button, see if you can see this little green light up here. There it is right there. Push that on and off. You want to see that green light if you're actually trying to run your TV, or keep in mind too, anytime most TVs now for high def, prior to when you get into a new area, you always want to go through your menu on your TV and do a channel search, so it will suck in all the high def channels that it has available to it at that particular time. You have storage underneath your seats. These lights here are manual to turn on and off, as well as the one here on the ceiling also. You do have 110 power and USB charging on this side, and this window here is not only emergency exit, but it is a working window as well. Basically all you're going to do is bring this little red handle around. It's hard to do with one hand, and then take this window and you kind of push it out, and you can prop it in that position right there to be able to have it as a working window as well. Otherwise, bring it to, close it up, and put the handle back down in there. Going over here on the other side of the bedroom again, you have USB charging ports over here on this side as well, and 110 power. And these doors have snaps on them on both sides, so always make sure that you secure those snaps as well. You got AC vent up here and everything also. I do believe that's just about it on everything inside of here. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to give us a call. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Otherwise, thank you, and you have a great day.